Weekend edition, Danielle Noyce here for the 1 Degree Outside Weather Network. As we prep for our incoming storm, want to get you some of the key points to start, and then we'll dive into the details. Once the snow begins on Sunday, it ramps up quickly. Roads deteriorate fast because of that. The heaviest snow, 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. Snowfall rates 1 to 3 inches per hour. Thunder snow possible. Pockets of outages at the coast where the snow is going to be a wetter and heavier consistency, and we'll talk more about that coming up. Join us for a pre-storm live stream this evening, Saturday evening with Matt. Membership.onedegreeoutside.com. You get the nitty-gritty details of the storm, the science behind it, and the best part, it's interactive. You can ask your questions on there. Always on our 24/7 streaming network. We will be on New England's first and only streaming on your smart TV, YouTube app, 1 Degree Outside Network, and at 1degreeoutside.live as well. You can always tap the home screen of our app, too, to get there. Now, as of this recording, Saturday morning, it feels like 5 to 15 below zero in southern New England and 20 to 30 below zero in the far north country. This is serious cold. The Arctic blast has come in. Temperatures will be either side of zero in the north country and in the teens in southern New England with that biting wind today. So even at the warmest time of the day, it's going to feel like it's either side of zero in southern New England and still 10 to 20 below zero in the far north country, where frostbite can set in as little as 15 to 30 minutes. Now, clouds increase overnight tonight. Here's a map for Sunday morning. Notice it's still very cold. That's why as the snow moves in, it will be this burst of fluffy snow coming into Connecticut first. I'm going to take you through this timeline pretty slowly here. And it starts between about 6 and 8 a.m., coming into Hartford around 9, coming into Worcester around 10, filling in across the South Shore and Cape. This will lift northward quickly. So somewhere like Boston, it's around 11 a.m. to noon time up to the Mass-New Hampshire border by midday, and then expanding north from there. Notice the temperature. So keep an eye on the city or town closest to you. It does rise into the 20s. So this is what I was talking about the changing consistency of the snow. Yes, fluffy piles quickly at the onset, but then it turns wetter and heavier, particularly at the coastline. Notice the deeper blues in here too. By Sunday afternoon through the evening hours and really the southern half of New England, that's where the snowfall rates go 1 to 3 inches per hour, continuing into the first part of the overnight. And what's this? Yeah, that mix we were talking about. A little bit of sleet, just a little tongue of some milder air above our heads comes in. So we'll have some mixing from Block Island back over to the Vineyard, perhaps to Chatham, Nantucket. Notice the temperature, low to mid 30s. So that's really the cement that's going to be coming down, mixing with sleet, perhaps briefly to the canal as we head around midnight. Notice north and west of that, it is a really heavy, wet, pasty snow for the South Shore, extending back up into eastern Essex County. Teens through the interior where it's a much fluffier consistency, and then the snow does taper in intensity after about 1 a.m. Notice by Monday morning, maybe even a brief lull along the south coast and kind of some patchwork here. What happens Monday late morning and afternoon, though, look at this, fills back in. It will be a lighter intensity through the day on Monday. Notice the temperatures, particularly for somewhere in southeastern New England, goes from the 30s, and then we crash through the 20s into the teens as colder air whips in on the backside of the storm. So it's still snowing in most areas by the time we get to Monday, late afternoon and evening, with the back edge not really coming through until 9 to 11 p.m. Look at that from west to east. Even some flurries will linger a little bit longer in far eastern New England and especially across the Pine Tree State, wrapping up early on Tuesday morning. So no big changes to this map. A lot of spots are going to end up a foot and a half. Notice the two areas that have a little bit less, far northern New England and northern Maine, and perhaps a little bit from Chatham back down to Nantucket, because a little of that mixing that comes in, again, generally either side of about midnight, but still widespread 15 to 20 anticipated here from the South Shore, stretching back up into central Mass, southeast New Hampshire, far southern Maine. Little bullseye here too from western Massachusetts up into southern Vermont. Widespread 12 to 18 inches with a little shadowing of less in far northeast Kingdom, northern Coos County, stretching back into north central Maine, and a little less right in the crown of Maine where it's more like 6 to 9 and then 3 to 6. But a lot of spots and 12 to 18 for most of central and northern New England. And then from Portland back down to the southern York County coastline, it will be that little bullseye of 15 to 20 with the kind of worst case scenario of up to 2 feet in spots. Now the snow consistency, yes, with temperatures in the single digits, teens and 20s, it's really powdery, fluffy in northern New England, but look at this change. Fluffy to start, then much stickier where that coastal front sets up and the temperatures rise. So it's briefly fluffy, then wet and pasty. So this blue area is where we're most concerned with some outages that may occur because of the heavier, wet nature of the snow. It will be a little fluffier on the backside on Monday as that colder air comes back in. Speaking of cold air, yes, the temperatures at 6,000 feet are very cold, but we've put that 32-degree line on here. So notice where it comes in right around midnight. The immediate south coast of Connecticut, southern Rhode Island, back over towards the islands, the Vineyard, Nantucket, maybe briefly up towards the canal near midnight. North of that, it's cold enough for snow, and it's that wet, pasty snow. Then that line collapses back down south and east Monday, late morning through the afternoon. So that's why we flip back to snow, although again, much lighter in terms of the consistency, fluffier, but also the snowfall rates. Let's talk wind. It's not a huge issue for Sunday morning, right on through the afternoon. Essentially nor'easter here, storm center passing south and east of Nantucket. So closest to the storm center, some gusts up near 40 miles per hour. Look at this by Sunday evening on Nantucket, on the outer Cape. And notice it's really confined to the coastline. We get some gusts that go 30 to 40 miles per hour. Blizzard conditions. The definition of a blizzard is 3 consecutive hours of blowing, drifting snow, gusts over 35 miles per hour, and quarter-mile visibility or less. And that may verify in a couple spots on the South Shore here. Look at Plymouth, for example. Between about 10 p.m. and 1 a.m., we're gusting around 35 miles per hour, 30 to 40 on the Cape. And even inland, no, it is blowing and drifting around, but most gusts are about 20 to 35 miles per hour. Then the wind is going to shift around to the north and northwest on the backside of the storm. About 10 to 25 miles per hour by Monday afternoon, some gusts near 30. So that will mean a tough wind chill here for cleanup. Notice by Sunday morning, it's feeling still like 20 to 30 below zero in northern New England, single digits in southern New England, and then through the course of the day, it won't be as brutal. That said, it still feels sub-zero in much of northern New England throughout the duration of this storm. This is Monday morning, still 15 to 20 below zero in the far north country. Look at that difference. Somewhere like Boston down to the Cape, the wind chill at the warmest time in the 20s, and that's that relatively milder air that comes in. Then it snaps back. So teens, single digits by the time we get to Monday evening and night. Tuesday morning, yes, the storm is gone, but look at this, the wind chill, 5 to 10 below zero again, 10 to 15 below zero. And at the warmest time of the day on Tuesday, it'll feel like the single digits and below zero in northern New England. So this cold is going nowhere. The Arctic air comes back in, and you'll see that in the 14-day forecast right on our app as well. And our app is a great tool to have. It's got literally everything on there, right? Hourly forecast, our individual videos. You can tap to watch the stream, the interactive radar, and send to us tab. We'd love to hear your reports and see your pictures as well. So if you haven't downloaded it yet, search 1 Degree Outside Weather in the App Store and Google Play, and be sure to check back this weekend for updates, as always, at the number 1degreeoutside.com and on social media too.